Thank you. Good afternoon. This is the Afsluitdijk, the famous 32-kilometer dam, which basically makes sure that we in the Netherlands don't die. It's very simple. So on the left you have the sea, and on the right you have Amsterdam, Rotterdam, the other cities. So that's very interesting. We live with nature, we fight with nature, and we use design and technology to create our own home. And it's very interesting because my Chinese friends, they look at this and they're saying, you are crazy. Eh? Why do you fight with water? Why don't you just move to Germany? Eh? But we don't. No, we don't. And we stay. So this, what? Yeah, they literally said that. Anyway, so this is an example of how design and technology is in the DNA of the landscape we already live in. Eh? It's not just futurism, microchip sensors, etc. It's the landscape we grow up. But sometimes we forget. So we made waterlicht, what you see here, a combination of LEDs and lenses, which show how high the water level would be if we stop. If we don't care about rising sea level, about global challenges, if we think somebody else will do it for us, it goes wrong. And we started to flood these public spaces all around the world. Can we dim the lights a bit?
Best wel spooky. Spacey. Ja.
Wat ik het gevoel dat ik erbij krijg is een beetje onder water. Dat je onder een laag zit.
Ja, best wel mooi, vind ik.
With the waves above us. And it's magnificent.
Ik weet natuurlijk dat we beneden zeeniveau zitten, maar ja, zoals je het zegt, zou dat niet zo fijn zijn als ik dit opeens over me heen ga voelen, nee.
$60,000 people showed up in one evening here in Amsterdam. And what is interesting is, and that is, I think, the true role and the true beauty of art and design, it creates a collective experience where people are not scared of the future, but curious. Can we make floating cities, or can we generate energy from the changing in tide? So I think the notion of wonder, I think it's so weird that we're not curious towards the future that much anymore today. Well, I mean, you, of course, you are here, so you're good, but it's weird. When we look at 60s, 70s, we had Super Studio, Archigam, Metabolism, Jetsons, Concorde. We were curious. And it seems that somehow we sort of lost that capability to be curious towards the future. We're scared of the robots taking over our jobs. So I think, and I hope that the things that I make sort of challenge that a bit more. But back to this famous, beautiful old dike, built by hand in 1932, rock by rock. But because of rising sea level, it was in need of renovation. So our Dutch Minister of Infrastructure launched a huge campaign to strengthen it for 832 million euro and make it future-proof. But somewhere in all of these functional, very practical conversations, they realized this is not just a landscape machine, it's also our tradition, our culture. This is our Chinese wall, so to speak. Nobody does this. And they came to me and asked, can you make something to make this place more iconic, to make sure that people understand the value of this kind of creative thinking? And what we started to do, in a way, is look at what is already there. Because in the first briefings, the client immediately said, no technology. And no maintenance. We're like, excuse me? Yeah, they're like, well, we don't really like technology because of the salt and the rain, everything breaks down. And if we have to do maintenance, we have to shut down the roads. Yeah, whole parts of the Netherlands are being cut off of transportation. Everybody gets really mad. So briefing was no technology and no maintenance. So we're like, oh shit, you know, like how are we gonna do this? So we started to look at what is already there. This is already there, 60 floodgates. So they open and close the walls of water to let the water in and to defend it. So if these fail, we drown. And we started to think about, okay, let's not use LED and cables, but of course there's already light present on this highway, which is the light of the The sun, yes, very good, yeah. And what, yeah, we're getting there. And what else? The cars, yeah, very good. So we took the famous blueprint of the architect. These are monuments inspired by the wing of a butterfly. Started to think about reflection. I mean, a lot of people know this. This is not a pigment, so this will fade away because of the light. The light breaks it down, not the wing of a butterfly. If you ever feel in need and in search of the meaning of life, you look at the wing of a butterfly. It's really amazing. So on a microscopical level, it absorbs, mutates, reflects light, and therefore the wing of a butterfly always remains vivid. That was one of the inspirations. So we started to drag our Minister of Infrastructure into the story. That's what we do with politicians. We show them mimicking the headlights of the car. 3 years later, 324 people renovated them. So at daytime, they look like temples, and at nighttime, they become alive. So you can go there every night, take your electrical car, and this is an example of a landscape which is energy neutral. Let's dim the lights a bit again. Why do we have streetlights burning the whole night when nobody's there? That's really silly. And how can we use very practical and poetic elements, merging them together to make landscapes which are good for us, which are also good for people, but also for the animals? When there's no car, there's no light pollution, which was very important because this is a big, how do you say, bird migration area. So for me, this is sort of a proof how I would like to see this future, smart, sensitive, and trying to find a new harmony between our desire for progress and humanity. Or here, you know these glow-in-the-dark little stars that you had on the ceiling when you were a boy or girl? Yes? Yes? I think I've been staring at them way too long when I was a 5-year-old. That would explain a lot. We started to push this material and made bicycle paths which charge at daytime and glow at night.
It's just like we're laying on a starry night.
Commissioned by the International Van Gogh Foundation, who wanted to celebrate his 125th anniversary, we made a bicycle path where he lived and worked in 1883. So on one hand, it's pragmatism, enhancing safety, energy neutral, but it's also about sort of celebrating the history of that place. You know, when we talk about mobility and innovation, we're so used to think about the cars that can be sexy and glamorous and billions of research and development. We find that very normal. But why can't the road, the infrastructure, the thing that we actually see while we're driving, cannot be an interface of information and of knowledge? I think we really have to rethink the notion of infrastructure and mobility in that way. So I'm saying we, because of course the notion of an artist sitting in the attic, cutting off little pieces of his ear, being misery, is, I think, not true. That never really happened, to be honest. So we are all standing on the shoulders of the giants before us. Yes, very simple. So this is my studio in Rotterdam, in the Netherlands, an old dream factory, an old glass factory that we renovated. So on the left you have the team of designers, engineers, architects, project manager, and a larger space where we make prototypes, where we learn, where we fail, where we try, where we succeed. So the notion of making, not just thinking, but making, and then trying and launching and learn is, I think, the key to change this world, to upgrade this world around us. And I love technology. I'm the son of a math teacher. So I think a lot of challenges that we are facing today, rising sea levels, CO2 emissions, animal species dying, in a way, we have created this. This is not Mother Nature. We have created it. So we can do two things. Be sad, cry, hide in a room, and blame somebody else. Bad idea. Or we can say, well, we have created this situation. Let's design, let's engineer our way out of it. Yes? And I think that's a very radical and very proactive attitude. But what really drives us in a way is this. It's not about sort of beautifying or decorating this world. That's not what I'm talking about. World Economic Forum, as you mentioned in the introduction, the think tank in Geneva made a list, skill list of all the things which are important for you guys as skills to be future-proof. So we're giving you here the shortcut. This is number 3, creativity. Number 2, critical thinking. And number 1, problem solving, complex problem solving. All the things a robot or a computer is really bad at. And this, ladies and gentlemen, makes me very, very hopeful. Because yes, things will disappear. The taxi driver, maybe the accountant, the garbage collector, etc., etc. But that will mean that our human skills, our desire to learn, our desire for beauty, our desire to progress, will become more important because the robots and computer are not that good at it. So we will live in a world where creativity and creative thinking is our true capital. So you will go to these conferences, not just because they're nice and interesting, but because they train a certain part of your brain that separates us from the machines. Yes? That's very, very cool. And that's important because a lot of our cities have become machines that are killing us. Oxford Street, if you walk there, 17 cigarettes per day that you passively inhale without the pleasure of a nicotine. I mean, we're getting a bad deal here, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's really weird. And when did we say yes to that? When did we say beauty is a Louis Vuitton bag or a Ferrari or an expensive watch? And why is beauty not clean air or clean energy? Yes? So I think these are the new values of this new world. So 4 years ago, Beijing, left is a good day. Busy city, it's fine. Right, a couple of days later, a bad day. The city so polluted, I literally couldn't even see on the other side of the city. And I became inspired by Beijing smog. It happened. And I remember being a boy, playing with plastic balloons. When you polish them with your hands, they become static. Yeah, thank you. Static electrified. And they start to play with your hair. It's science, it's nature, a gift. What if we would use that principle to literally build the largest smog vacuum cleaner in the world, which sucks up polluted air, cleans it, and then releases it? Let's just, if the city has become a machine that is harming us, let's build machines that can heal us. And 1 year later, a lot of people telling us it could not be done, it already exists, blah, blah, blah. We built the first one. So it cleans a soccer stadium within a day and a half, capturing the PM2.5, PM10, running on solar panel, and releasing the clean air, so we have parks which are 20 to 70% more clean than the rest of the city. China started to call, how much? How much? In Chinese. If we talk about the new world, that's the one sentence you want to remember in Chinese. It's very interesting. What? I'm Dutch, I'm practical. You have to forgive me, you have to forgive me. We did the scientific research to validate how it works with thermodynamic expert Professor Blokke. But besides the tech and the crazy clients calling us around the world, I really believe that creating a place, creating a park where people can see the difference, where they can feel the difference, is the beginning of change. I'm not a minister. I cannot say 20 billion euro in green energy today. I can't do that. I can do this. But also, and I put this in for Dr. Jane's lecture afterwards, you see these little dogs here? They look really happy, It was very good. So we arrived, all these dogs were there. And they were like hanging out, and it was this weird David Lynch movie I walked into, So we're like, why are these dogs here? And we found out, and we all know dogs have a very high sense of smell, Yes, so they can smell, what is it, 20, 200 times better than human beings? No, many times. And they were suffering from smog. This is in Krakow, in Poland. They were suffering, more intense than humans. And so they could smell the clean air from far, far away. And they started to abandon their owner and sort of hanging out around the tower to enjoy clean air. So they look really happy. This one looks happy. This one tries to be happy, but it's too small. Anyway, so if animals know what is good for us, why can humans not? But also we learn. It's not just technology, because technology in itself will make us more lazy. This is Beijing smog. This is the stuff that we were sucking up from the urban skies. And on a Monday morning, we realized that waste should not exist. The true future is circular, where everything is connected. Like an anthill doesn't have waste. They don't understand that. 42% is carbon. And we all know that carbon on the high pressure, you get diamonds, yeah. That's interesting. So we compressed it for 30 minutes. And so by sharing a ring, you donate 1,000 cubic meters of clean air to the city where the tower is in. And we started to put this online, a Kickstarter campaign. And so the finance we made with the jewellery, the money that we got, helped us to build the first tower. So the waste wasn't the waste, it was the activator, it was the enabler. Wait, I have one here, by the way. Here, I can show it around, maybe. I'm not going to propose, don't worry. You can show it around. Oh, maybe I will, please. Show it around. I like my job. Wedding couples started to purchase it to get married. This is crazy. This is like, they were sending this to us. She said yes. New York Times published it, thank you very much. Suddenly 3,000 people call per day, you know. A dirty little secret. Prince Charles has the cufflinks. So science, technology, make it work is really important, but also you want to make something that people feel connected. I think this notion of symbolism and emotion, connecting with science creates true impact. And last one, before I'm going to wrap up, what are we looking at? This is not me being rhetorical, guys. Space junk, very good. This is space waste. So suddenly, apparently, we're not satisfied with ruining and polluting our Earth atmosphere, or Earth. We just keep on going outside our Earth atmosphere. So in 1957, Sputnik, Apollo was launched. Pieces of satellite missiles started to collide and created this layer of junk around our planet Earth. Crazy, eh? And if a tiny, tiny particle, because of the high speed, hits an existing satellite goes down. What we see here, satellite goes down, no more GPS in the future, no more Facebook, no more WhatsApp. And ESA, the European Space Agency, is predicting, with all the new satellites that are being launched the coming weeks, it's going to get worse. So basically, what we're creating is a Kessler effect. This is a scientist who calculated that in 30 years, we'll have so much junk around our Earth that we cannot launch more new missiles or satellites. So in 30 years, we will have a conference here in London saying, ladies and gentlemen, the good news is life outside Earth, we found it. And the bad news is we can't get there. And I'm not joking. This is the current situation. And the weird part is that nobody really knows how to fix it. So we're launching the Space Waste Lab in collaboration with ESA and NASA. Phase 1, visualizing. Tracking and showing real-time the space waste above your head. Thousands of particles. So we're tracking real-time 29,000 particles larger than 10 centimeters. Pointing, visualizing, scanning, 8,000 people popped up at the opening, becoming aware of it. So it's a problem. But also, what can we do with it? Eh? What would you do with 8.1 million kilo of Lego blocks floating in the space? So inside we have an exhibition. More than 2,000 students and high school kids applied to courses. Okay, but maybe it's a potential. Maybe we can use it to design. So this is a real piece of space waste that we got from one of the astronauts from the Hubble telescope. One of the few that is actually, in planet Earth, which didn't burn up. We're looking at solutions to capture it, raising the funding together with the space agencies, the net, the robot arm, or the laser. Right now, nobody really knows how yet. Eh? It's a problem without a solution yet. And that's why nobody likes to clean up. It's like when you're a boy or a girl. You don't want to clean up your room. You want to eat popcorn and watch television. You're not cleaning up your room. It's not fun. So we're adding a design element, a creative element to it. If we capture it somehow, can we use it to 3D print houses on the moon? It's already there. Let's use it. Or if with a net we attract it to the Earth, it burns up. Waste is light. Can we create artificial falling stars as a replacement for fireworks? Yes, we can. Yeah. So this is Dubai World Expo 2020, where we're cleaning up the universe and at the same time showing the beauty of this potentially new world. All right. Thank you so much. Yes.